Well, I had finished my last project about 3 or 4 years ago, my Mustang II, and decided to do something totally different philosophy of building and flying. And I heard it was a difficult project, because why make something easy? Rick said, you know, I've always wanted to do a home build. This sounds like an intriguing one. Let's collaborate.
AOPA keeps flying safe, accessible, and fun by protecting your freedom to fly. We are the most trusted one-stop resource for all things related to general aviation. Become an AOPA pilot today.
Start to finish on this, Rick's plane is a month or two behind, but 4.5 years, so 4.5 to 5 years total each aircraft. I can't tell you how many hours. We never really kept a good track of that, but thousands of hours, and it was a lot of time, but it was all enjoyable. It really was.
The learning curve on making one part was pretty steep, and then as you continue to make more parts, it was easier and easier and easier. So say like, you know, as opposed to making 4 wings, we made 8 wings, and the first wing took quite a while, the last wing went pretty fast.
We sort of subspecialized. Rick's more of a woodworker, and I'm more of a metal person. And there were certain things that I'd never heard of in woodworking, like, you know, joining processes that just made so much sense. And Rick came out with these router bits that I've never seen before, and they worked perfectly, and they made the process easy. So yeah, getting the process down and getting it, especially for the ribs, getting an assembly line down was really important and really streamlined things. There were frustrating moments, but it was all really fun. I enjoyed, there's definitely new skills I learned, new skills Rick learned.
I mean, the challenge of trying to plan things out so they work is, Carlo did a great job on that. I mean, we have very few remakes of anything.
The glass panel, I think, was a no-brainer, because it's in this airspace environment we're in. We kept on thinking, you know, the Hatz purists are going to disown us because they like round gauges, and here we come with EFIS. But really, it looks neater. You've got a neat, clean, square display, and it's not much bigger than a comm radio.
And cost.
Yeah, and reliability.
Less on the reliability, weight.
Yeah. So the technical aspect was a no-brainer. The social, but we're not here to please the Hatz purists. We're here to please us. So we made that decision early on that EFIS was going to be a good decision. And the round engine was purely emotional. It was not a practical decision at all. It was the romance of a round engine. The Rotec was available, and there's several people that had put this engine in Hatz Classics.
Yeah, and that was probably the biggest selling point for me to build the airplane too. Is, you know, you get an airplane with a round engine. I mean, a Waco is out of my price range. Stearmans are not that fun to fly, and they're expensive. This seemed to have a characteristic that was easy to fly. The expense of it was within reach. Just have to put it together. Have to build it. Which was part of the thing too. Is never built an airplane before, and now I could say I've built an airplane.
I'm actually really quite relaxed. It's you know, I know that Carlo has taken care of every detail, and you know, he's built this to the absolute highest quality that it can be, and I'm really just looking forward to getting out there and you know, crossing the next milestone for in the process of this airplane, and really just enjoying the process.
We saw an oil streak, and part of me said, "Oh, radial engine, it smokes." And maybe there's some nooks and crannies that oil was hiding in before. And part of me should have just said, "No, let's stop and see what's going on." But I said, "Oh, it'll stop." And then Dave took off and flew, and I said, "This is a proper smoke trail. It's half the thickness of an aerobatic air show smoke trail."
And biplane 1, you return for landing, you're trailing a little bit of smoke.
November
2 Hotel Charlie, Roger, people are advising that you land because they said that there looks like there's a little bit too much smoke. Just let me know what you'd like to do.
Roger, I'd like to enter the right downwind to land.
Star 2 Charlie, Roger, just report when established in the right downwind.
Good trail.
Yeah.
Roger, I will report established right downwind for 2-3.
So what happened is there was an oil seal behind the engine pressure oil pump. This thing has 3 oil pumps, but the pressure pump has a seal, and it happened to fail and spew, I think, 6 quarts of oil in a scope of 6 minutes while Dave was flying. And yeah, we fixed that, and we had a recurrence of the problem. So I did a modification to the oil pump that actually relieves all the pressure on that seal, and it's basically inlet pressure of the pump instead of outlet pressure. And it's been bone dry ever since. And that's part of the experimental experience. Is you figure out the problem and you fix it. I'm going to take a good dear friend of mine to Oshkosh, and we're going to make a nice adventure out of getting there, and that's going to be half the fun, and then showing the airplane off will be the other half. I'm going to enter it in judging, but I'm just going to share it with the flying community and polish it and be there to answer questions and mix up with my new Hatz community. It's totally different. I've never flown an airplane that's blind on landing, so that's very new to me. But it's a very easy airplane to fly, I think. And it's pleasant to fly. And typically, you always sort of dread the 40-hour fly-off period because you're just sort of sitting there testing out things, and it's not really supposed to be fun, but it turned out to be fun. As I dialed the airplane in, it became better and better and more fun to fly. And now it's a totally hands-off airplane, and its handling is very nice. When you're building an airplane, you think about every weld, and I've got to do this right, and I've got every little glue joint, and you can't possibly think about all those little things that could possibly fail that you built. You built this in a house. It's not a controlled environment. It's not a factory. There's no quality standard, and there's no manual, and there's no quality control department. You do it all. You're the taxpayer in this program. You're the program manager. You're everything, and all that has to just go out of your mind. And you're flying this new airplane. But it's cool, and it's without Dave's encouragement, I would have never got in it.